My Hablich's last words before Weimel at Seacher's section made the entire Oregrado as a labor and delivery nurse. I've heard everything from bizarre confessions to marriage proposals during epidurals. But what my patient Emma whispered before her emergency exception haunted our entire team for months. I first met Emma during her 36-week checkup. She was a first-time mom with a flawless pregnancy until that day when her blood pressure suddenly skyrocketed. Sweet and soft-spoken. She'd always arrive alone for appointments because her husband was deployed overseas. She showed me vest pictures in the nursery. She designed true photos on her phone. Nissan space-themed room with glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling. He'll be home in 3 weeks, she told me, beaming. Just in time for the birth. But babies rarely follow schedules. At 37 weeks, Emma was rushed in with severe preeclampsia. Her blood pressure was dangerously high, and the baby's heart rate kept dropping. The doctor made the call for an immediate C-section. Emma was terrified, and through tears, she begged us to wait. My husband doesn't even know, she sobbed as we prepped her. We were supposed to FaceTime tonight. I held her hand while the anesthesiologist administered a spinal guard. I promise I'll make sure he knows what's happening, I assured her, already planning to contact his unit after the surgery. As we wheeled her into the operating room, Emma suddenly became very calm. Too calm. A blood pressure was dropping rapidly. It was a dangerous sign. The anesthesiologist worked quickly to raise her while the surgical team prepared. A room was tense, everyone moving with practiced urgency. Just before the surgeon made the first incision, Emma's eyes found mine. She motioned for me to come closer, and I leaned in, expecting last-minute fears or questions about the procedure. Sarah, she whispered, her voice surprisingly steady. If something happens to me, please tell him I knew. My blood ran cold. Knew what, Emma? I found the ring in his drawer before he deployed. I wasn't snooping as I was looking for socks. She smiled weakly. Tell him I would have said yes, and that I've been practicing my surprise face for months. Everyone in that OR froze for just a second. Then the baby's heart rate dropped again, and me snapped back to work. The next 30 minutes were a blur of controlled chaos. Emma lost consciousness briefly from her reaction to the medication. The baby, as a perfect little boy, was delivered and immediately whisked to the NICU for breathing support. 3 hours later, Emma stabilized, though she remained in critical condition. I was ending my shift when a commotion erupted at the nurse's station. A man in dusty fatigues had just sprinted in, wild-eyed and out of breath. My wife, he panted. Emma Mitchell. They said she had the baby. Somehow he got an emergency leave and flown 14 hours straight. 2 days later, I walked into Emma's recovery room to find her holding her son, her husband asleep in the chair beside them. She was pale but smiling. Did you tell him? She asked quietly when I checked her vitals. No, I replied. Some stories need to be told firsthand. 6 months later, they brought baby Leo in for a checkup. Emma pulled me aside and pressed a small gift bag into my hands. Inside was a keychain with a tiny star that glowed in the dark. For remembering, she said simply that sometimes the X-Maze nights still make room for wishes.